There's a word that entered my life long before I ever understood what God was preparing me for. Ambivalence. I first heard it sitting beside my son Aiden in therapy. I knew the definition. I mean, it had come up again, right? This word, ambivalence. And I knew the definition of the word. I understood the dictionary meaning, but I didn't get the depth of it. And when the therapist and Aiden were talking about ambivalence, I could only see it at the behavior level. And I kept asking myself, I won't even say asking myself silently, we had discussions. And I couldn't understand how Aiden was stuck between the choices that he had. Why can't he move forward? Why does he keep circling the same pain? Back then I believed ambivalence was simply indecision, hesitation, a lack of clarity. But years later, through my own collapse, my own rebuilding, my own return to God, and working with men like I do now, I realized something really important in these strongholds. And ambivalence isn't about behavior at all. Ambivalence is an identity conflict. It's the subconscious trying to hold on to the old identity because it knows how to survive there. That's where Aiden was. He knew how to survive in this spot that he was in. While God is calling you into a new identity, your flesh has never lived there before. And your subconscious, your survival brain, right? Your old nature, they all say the same thing. The darkness is safer than the light. And, this is exactly what Jesus says in John chapter 8. You cannot see the light because you prefer the security of the darkness. And I didn't understand, so much about the Bible when I was younger. That verse, any verses, I'm just going to be honest with you. But now I see it everywhere. In the men I talk to and serve. I see it in myself. And for sure I saw it in my son. Ambivalence, it's not a lack of discipline. It's not confusion. It's not weakness. That's how I saw it with him. But ambivalence is the subconscious trying to protect an identity that God is trying to crucify. And when he begins renewing your mind, when the Holy Spirit starts shining light into that darkness, the strongholds, they tighten. This is the truth, man. Fear tightens, shame tightens, doubt tightens, scarcity tightens. And ambivalence becomes stronger, not weaker. But here's the part that I didn't see. I think the part that most men never see. Light threatens the identity that darkness built. Right? And again in John chapter 8, Jesus said something that when you get it at the root, it'll shake you. He says, when identity is broken, judgment is broken. When judgment is broken, a man cannot see truth, no matter how clear it is. And that was me. These are the men that I talk to, that I work with, that I train, and that was Aiden's battle too. And when your identity is wounded, when the old man is still alive, you can look directly at the truth and still not recognize it. And you can take from John chapter 8 too, this paraphrase that you cannot see the light if you don't know the man who lit it. And that's where I was. If a man doesn't know Jesus, he cannot see himself. He cannot see truth. He cannot discern identity. Because Jesus doesn't just reveal truth. He restores sight. So here's where this becomes even more real. All right? I'm talking to everybody here. Men who are spiritually fatherless cannot see who Jesus is, and therefore cannot see who they are. Spiritual fatherlessness breaks identity. Broken identity breaks judgment. Broken judgment blinds a man to truth, and blindness creates ambivalence. It's not psychology. There is a spiritual architecture here. This is why a man stays stuck even when he wants to break free. Because the old identity feels safer than the unknown future. Darkness feels safer than light. Survival feels safer than transformation. But Jesus did not come to negotiate with darkness, right? He came to expose it, to reveal identity, restore judgment, and reconnect sons to the Father. And that is why the moment God begins renewing your mind, ambivalence rises up. Because the flesh, your body, your mind is terrified of what the Spirit is awakening. But here's the truth that I just want you all to hear. Light cannot be stopped. Not by your past, not by your strongholds, not by your fear, and not by the identity that you built in the dark. When Jesus shines light on your life, he's not exposing you to shame, he is exposing you to truth, to identity, to sonship, to renewal. And here's the revelation that changed everything for me. Ambivalence is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that God is renewing your mind and the old identity is starting to lose its grip. Ambivalence is the tension between who you were and who God is calling you to become. It's a war between the flesh and the spirit, between darkness and light, between the identity built through survival and the identity built through resurrection. And when the light comes, man, it reveals identity. It exposes broken judgment. It restores spiritual fatherhood. It heals the blinded heart. In the darkness, the old identity, the old self, the old lies, they can't stop it. Because light cannot be stopped. Not then, not now, not ever.